Hey everyone, I'm Dustin Davis. Let's get into everything happening in Chicago right now. Did Ryan Poles bet too heavily on veteran presence? And is Chicago already paying a price that goes beyond the loss column? Bold transactions have defined the Bears' recent transformation. Poles orchestrated calculated gambles, aggressive roster surgery, and coaching alignments that shaped a competitive core capable of challenging for playoff position. Yet, momentum alone doesn't silence every uncomfortable question, and one high-dollar commitment in particular has delivered far less than its price tag promised. The organization stands at a crossroads, familiar to franchises balancing immediate contention with long-term vision. Some investments accelerate progress. Others become cautionary reminders that reputation and production don't always align. Chicago's front office now faces the reality that not every calculated risk pays dividends, and the gap between expectation and output is growing harder to ignore. First, friends, can I ask for a small favor? If you're liking what we do, click the like button to show your support. It truly means a lot. Thanks again. This past offseason, Chicago allocated substantial cap space to Grady Jarrett, locking him into a 3-year pact worth $43.5 million. The move was designed to fortify the interior line with size and disruptive ability. On paper, the logic held. Jarrett brought 2 Pro Bowl selections and a reputation as a dependable interior force built over multiple seasons in Atlanta. The framework suggested a calculated addition that would shore up run defense without excessive risk. Injuries and restricted snap counts have derailed that projection. A knee issue sidelined Jarrett earlier in the year, forcing him to miss 3 games. Even when healthy enough to suit up, he's logged starting assignments in only 3 of 8 appearances. Heading into the Week 13 matchup against Philadelphia, his output totaled 17 tackles, 5 quarterback hits, and 1 pass deflection. Advanced metrics paint an equally underwhelming picture. Pro Football Focus assigned him a grade of 52.5, positioning him 97th among 128 interior defensive linemen evaluated. For a player commanding $14.5 million annually, that ranking falls well short of expectations tied to his contract. Jarrett's most visible contribution has come away from the stat sheet. He's functioned as a veteran presence in team settings, regularly voicing player concerns in meetings and serving as a public representative for teammates. Head coach Ben Johnson has acknowledged that leadership dynamic as a constructive element within the locker room. Leadership carries value, but it cannot offset the absence of consistent on-field disruption when financial commitment reaches this level. At $14.5 million per year, the expectation extends to steady run stopping, interior pressure generation, and reliable availability. Current production falls materially short of that standard. Unless performance improves significantly, the organization may need to reevaluate this allocation far earlier than originally planned. Meanwhile, discipline issues surfaced in an unexpected moment during the team's recent winning streak against Pittsburgh. Chicago has strung together 5 consecutive victories, capping the run with a Black Friday road win over the defending Super Bowl champion Eagles. With meaningful games ahead, the franchise is positioned for its strongest season since capturing the NFC North title in 2018. During the Week 12 clash with Pittsburgh at Soldier Field, wide receiver DJ Moore, signed to a 4-year, $110 million contract that ranks among the league's most lucrative for his position, drew a taunting penalty following a third-quarter 5-yard catch from Caleb Williams. Reporting from fan-sided Bears, Ryan Heckman, indicates Moore flipped the football towards Steelers defensive back James Pierre after the short game. Officials flagged the act immediately. Fansided described the call as lenient by some standards, noting Moore hadn't been penalized for similar conduct since his Carolina days, when he once removed his helmet late following a significant play. The NFL's operations department viewed the incident more seriously. On Saturday, the league announced an $11,593 fine for Moore, the standard first offense taunting penalty under the collective bargaining agreement. After the game, Moore declined to elaborate on the penalty, stating, "I plead the fifth," according to Chicago Tribune beat writer Sean Hammond. The fine aligns with the CBA's penalty schedule and reflects the league's weekly review process, which can impose fines regardless of whether officials threw a flag during a live play.
league data underscores how selective such finds are. Out of 2,265 plays logged in Week 12, only 13, approximately 0.57%, drew additional financial penalties. For Moore, this marked his second career fine. His first came in December 2020 when he was penalized $10,000 for violating COVID-era protocols. This taunting call was Moore's third penalty of the current campaign, joining a false start and an offsides infraction. Over an 8-year career, Moore has accumulated 21 total penalties. Selected by Carolina in the first round of the 2018 draft, Moore later became the centerpiece of a 2023 trade that sent him to Chicago. That transaction yielded picks the Panthers used to select Bryce Young and the 2024 selection the Bears used to draft Caleb Williams from USC.
In another development, speculation has emerged around a dream scenario acquisition that could reshape the offense entirely. Cincinnati's offense operates at an elite level while defensive vulnerabilities remain a persistent narrative. Few franchises combine such explosive passing firepower with defensive inconsistency. At the center of that aerial attack sit Ja'Marr Chase and Tee Higgins, Chase having claimed the NFL's receiving triple crown the season prior. This hypothetical scenario examines pure upside. Acquiring a player whose presence fundamentally alters defensive scheming and raises a roster ceiling. That player is Ja'Marr Chase. Cincinnati's identity is rooted in offensive explosiveness, even as defensive shortcomings keep opponents competitive. The franchise's most prominent playmakers line up at wide receiver, Ja'Marr Chase and Tee Higgins. Chase's 2024 campaign, culminating in the receiving triple crown, demonstrates why he commands constant defensive attention. Over the previous 2 seasons, Chase appeared in 33 regular season games, accumulating 227 receptions, 2,924 yards, and 24 touchdowns, 17 of those coming in the most recent year. His connection with quarterback Joe Burrow ranks among the league's premier pairings. Timing, trust, and shared anticipation consistently exploit defensive breakdown. If Chicago needed to move a receiver to create roster space, veteran DJ Moore represents the most logical trade asset to complement Tee Higgins in Cincinnati. The hypothetical exchange would address both organizations' needs. Cincinnati acquires a proven veteran target, Chicago obtains elite top-end talent. Chase would deliver more than statistical production. He would demonstrate elite route mechanics, craft, and game-day execution for Rome Odunze, Luther Burden III, and, most critically, quarterback Caleb Williams. That type of on-field modeling accelerates development across the receiving corps and can fundamentally shift how defenses allocate coverage resources. Cincinnati possesses depth at skill positions, but if a front office seeks a single player capable of elevating an offense to a different tier, few names compared to Ja'Marr Chase. For Chicago, the opportunity to add a dynamic playmaker who combines elite production with immediate mentorship would represent a high-reward gamble. At the same time, whispers about a missed deadline opportunity continue to haunt the Bears' pass rush plans heading into 2026. The November 4th NFL trade deadline arrived and departed, and Chicago made no move for an elite edge rusher. The Raiders had already begun selling assets, with the Jakobi Meyers trade to Jacksonville sharpening focus on which premium veterans might become available. Max Crosby sat atop that list of potential trade targets. Rumors circulated, speculation built. If Las Vegas had decided to convert him into draft capital, the Chicago Bears would have been a clear and logical destination. Chicago had attempted to address edge depth through a prior acquisition of Joe Tryon-Shoyinka, but Dayo Odeyingbo's season-ending Achilles injury exposed lingering depth concerns. The Bears still needed a down-to-down disruptor capable of shifting blocking schemes and finishing plays. That need remained unmet when the deadline closed. Max Crosby's resume validates the hype. Consistent pressure rates and sustained sack production across his career reflect persistent disruption. Schematically, he creates one-on-one opportunities, collapses pockets, and forces opponents to alter protections, effects that elevate the entire front seven. Landing Crosby would have been expensive. Most trade models projected a package centered on 2 first-round selections. For a Bears roster led by rookie quarterback Caleb Williams, the choice was philosophical. Accelerate the present window by paying premium draft capital, or preserve those assets to build slowly. Chicago chose the latter, allowing the deadline to pass without a blockbuster move. For Las Vegas, trading Crosby would have generated draft currency and cap flexibility to retool with younger, controllable talent. For Chicago, adding an established pass rusher would have signaled that head coach Ben Johnson and the front office were prepared to go all in, instantly upgrading the pass rush and altering opponents' game plan. Contract structure, cap implications, and exact package construction ultimately kept the deal from materializing in 2025. But strategically, swapping future picks for a proven edge rusher remains one of the clearest routes for the Bears to accelerate their timeline and make a genuine title push. The deadline has closed for this season. The window for Max Crosby in 2025 is gone. But 2026 is a different conversation. And if the Bears are serious about building around Caleb Williams, Crosby's name should be at the top of the board when the next opportunity arrives. Did the Bears make a mistake by not pursuing Max Crosby before the November 4th deadline? Would giving up 2 first-round picks have been worth it to pair an elite edge rusher with Montez Sweat? Or was standing pat the smarter long-term play? Looking ahead to 2026, should Crosby be the Bears' top priority, or are there better ways to build around Caleb Williams? Tell us what you think in the comments. And before you go, hit that like and subscribe button. Be part of our community and stay updated. Let's keep Bears strong together. Catch you in the next one.